Ladies and gentlemen, the story brings about a different pace, I guess I can say, because we talk about a lot of stories that involve biological mothers and boyfriends, and the biological fathers are nowhere to be found. But in this case, we actually do have a very active biological father, which is good, because we've been hoping that at some point we can start to bring these families together. Of course, we advocate for children first, but we definitely advocate for fathers and families in the households, okay? Now, this story comes out of a place called Milwaukee, and the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner says he believes that a little boy by the name of Major Harris, and let me see if I can get a solo picture of him, this beautiful baby boy right here who seemed like he was very, very happy, right? Very happy looking little boy, healthy young man. Let me say thank you, Make This Go Viral TV, for the channel membership, showing some love, man. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. But a handsome little man right here. But they believe that he was killed around the same time as his mother. So if you guys have not heard about this story, this little boy was missing, I believe, at the time. The father was very active in the streets along with the police and the community, trying to find this boy, trying to find the biological mother, and they both ended up being found deceased. So that is a little bit of an update. The new information was released Monday by Dr. Brian Peterson. Now, according to his autopsy, investigators believe the 3-year-old boy, this baby right here, was dead for about a week before he was found last Thursday. Yes, this story comes out of Milwaukee. That is such an ironic name, especially with the nature of this crime. And I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to say some things that are not going to sit well with your sensibilities. The details might get your stomach in some knots, but I want to tell you guys this. It might hurt us to hear these stories, but it is no comparison to what these children actually have to live through. So the least we could do is listen to their story, okay? Now, police said a tip, so somebody saw something and said something, which is amazing, that's good, led them to the North 35th Street and West Row Avenue, where the baby boy Major's body was discovered in a storage container. Investigators said this boy was shot in the head, and they ruled his death a homicide. He was murdered. This was intentional. This will get you first degree in court. His mother, by the name of Mallory Musenberger, and I know I screwed her last name up. Let me see if I can get mom up here real quick. That's Mallory. I'm going to just say Mallory the mom because I cannot pronounce her last name. Mallory, who is 25 years old, and I want y'all to take a note of her age. She's 25. That's the mom. And she is from Alaska, and she was found dead on October the 14th in the backyard of a home on North 37th and West Clark Streets. Her son, Major, was not with her. They were separated. So I want you guys to think about this. While you're listening to this story, think about reasons why this would have happened. You got a beautiful mother, a beautiful baby, 2 people that look like they wouldn't do a thing wrong to anybody in this world. Why would someone want them dead? Think about that, bookmark that, and I'll give y'all my theory here in a minute, okay? Investigators believe the mother and son had been in Milwaukee since October the 9th when they were killed. So they weren't even there a full month. Wow. An Amber Alert was not issued for the boy until October the 16th. The main suspects in the deaths are an individual by the name of Jaheim Clark, who is this clown. I mean, this guy right here that you see on my screen, who is 20 years old, of Milwaukee, and he was found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound 1 day later on October the 17th. Please bookmark that. Jaheim is 20 years old, of Milwaukee. He was found with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. biggest question would be why? Why would he have a self-inflicted gunshot wound? We'll get to that here in a minute. We'll get to my theory here in a minute. I'll just tell you the story for now. Police found Mallory, the mother's vehicle, parked behind a laundromat last Monday. The SUV had blood inside, and WISN 12 learned when someone dropped it off on October 16th, they went inside to wash clothes. The laundry was 1 mile from where police found Major's body on Thursday. Police have not said if the person who dropped off the SUV and washed clothes was Clark. Investigators said Wednesday they arrested 6 people in connection to Mallory's death. 6 people. What do y'all want to guess? Do you want to place a wager on what race did that to these people? Do you think it was people that looked like the mother's skin tone? Or do you think it was probably somebody who shared the heritage skin color of the son and the biological father, who we'll talk about here in a minute? 4 of them were released before Monday out of the 6 who were arrested. Police said Monday the other 2 men, who were ages 21 and 29, were no longer in custody. So far, charges have not been filed against any of those arrested. Police have also not made any additional arrests in the deaths of Major or his mother. The medical examiner's office also confirmed on Monday that Major's body had been released to a funeral home in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm assuming that's Wisconsin if they say Madison. Major's father, who is, let me see if I can get his face up here. This is the biological father right here. And Major's father says that he intended to bury his son at a cemetery there. He shared custody of Major with Mallory, the mother. No additional service information was available. And as you guys can see, now this is a rapper that some of you guys might be familiar with. This is Lil Boosie. And I'm not sure if a lot of you guys listen to his music, but I actually do like a lot of Lil Boosie's music. I get a lot of requests for his stuff in the club. And, but yeah, so this is just really, really sad. The fact that maybe somebody was trying to take advantage of a celebrity. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. What are y'all saying in the chat? I know this is a live show, y'all. Hold on just a moment. You're saying it only looks like Boosie? You're saying that's not the... Boosie is not the biological father? Hold on. I actually have a picture. Hold on. Let me see if I can bring this back up here. That's the biological father. And this is actually a picture of the rapper Lil Boosie right here. Now y'all tell me that's not the same person. Is that 2 different people? Seriously? Look at my screen, y'all. AFC, come on, y'all. Look at this. Is that not the rapper Lil Boosie? Come on now, we got DJs in the chat. Somebody tell me that's not Boosie. Is it not? Does that not look like him? From the eyes to the Boosie fade haircut, to the trim around his mouth, to the eyes, to the yellow eyes and everything. That look just, come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Sorry, that looks exactly like the rapper. Okay, so I'm sorry. Maybe that's not actually the rapper Lil Boosie. Okay. If you say so. Let me give you guys the fair usage. Let me show you guys a couple of news videos. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Look, y'all, I know people say that a lot of black people look alike. That man looked just like the rapper Lil Boosie. If that is not Lil Boosie, that's gotta be his twin. That has to be his twin, not his cousin, not his brother. That has to be his paternal twin. Just saying. Let's get it.
Major Harris's dad so racked with grief he could barely walk after learning authorities in Milwaukee, Wisconsin found his 3-year-old shot dead. On October 14th, Major's mother, 25-year-old Mallory Munzenberger, was found dead in the backyard of a Milwaukee home. An Amber Alert for the toddler was activated 2 days later. On October 17th, Milwaukee police found Jaheim Clark dead by suicide. He was the main person of interest in the case. At this point, his relationship to Munzenberger is unclear.
Like I said, I want to thank the community for all their help. I pray for my family. I pray for...
Okay, they're calling him Carlton Harris, and that's Major's father, so I guess that's... I guess that's officially not little Boosie. Okay. But bro, I think you need to talk to your parents, because I think you might have a twin out there running around. Seriously.
In the case. At this point, his relationship to Munzenberger is unclear.
Like I said, I want to thank the community for all their help. I pray for my family. I pray for Mallory's family. I pray for my son. I pray for their souls. And I pray that whoever killed them, the real people, be brought to justice.
On October 21st, Major's remains were found in a container near trash cans in an alley. An autopsy from the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner ruled Major's cause of death was a gunshot wound to the head. His death was ruled a homicide.
They dropped the ball here. That's what it was. They dropped the ball here, and that little boy didn't deserve that. My little cousin didn't deserve that at all. Mallory didn't deserve that. Evil. Evil, pure evil. That's it, that's all. They have no souls, no nothing. How can you do a baby like that? That's a baby. He can't talk, he can't point you out, do none of that. It was senseless.
Authorities have arrested 2 people in connection with the case. No charges have been filed yet.
Major will not be forgotten. His name will ring on.
This is Inside Edition.
With a heavy heart, I'd like to pass that we have found Major Harris, unfortunately deceased.
Next, breaking news. The search for 3-year-old Major Harris is now a search for answers. Where Major's body was found and what we know about the investigation at this hour. Plus, we're on the phone with the family of Major's mother as they received the devastating news. Tonight, they give us a personal look at the boy behind all the headlines. TMJ4 News at 5 starts now. And breaking right now at 5, the news no one wanted to hear, a sad ending to the search for 3-year-old Major Harris. Milwaukee police announced this a short time ago. The toddler was found dead near 35th and Roar. Now that news comes just over an hour ago, bringing a tragic end to a massive and hopeful search effort that had been going on for more than 5 days. We have complete coverage for you now at 5. Katie Crowther has talked to the family of Major's mother, who was found dead a week ago today. Tom Durian is live near the site where the child's body was found. But we begin with Tony Atkins. He has been following the search since the Amber Alert went out. Tony is live at 37th and Center. What can you tell us, Tony?
Carol, today this was ground zero for any search activity regarding the disappearance of Major Harris. Dozens of police officers, dozens of members of the community came together searching dozens of blocks here in this radius. Mallory Munzenberger was killed just up the road here on 35th near Center, and this is where police say they had a credible lead to come back here to search, and that's what they did all throughout the day until they got that news just over an hour ago that Major Harris was found dead 3.5 miles away from this location. Here's what Chief Norman had to say about this tragic end to this desperate search.
But with a heavy heart, I'd like to pass that we have found Major Harris, unfortunately deceased, at North 35th Street in West Roar. This is an ongoing investigation. This is something that is very fluid at this time. My heart and my condolences out to the family. And again, I'd like to remind that this is still an ongoing and very fluid investigation.
That's right. It's really tough. This is just the end to a tragic situation. But MPD said they had made 6 arrests in connection to the murder of Mallory, and they say that there's still so much more investigating to be done. The family thanks everyone who came out here to search. Obviously, this isn't the news anybody was looking for. A true gut punch here in this community. For now, I'm reporting live on 37th and Center. Tony Atkins.
Tonight, the Milwaukee County Medical
gathered at the site where little Major was found dead. Stephanie Haynes is live at MPD headquarters with more tonight.
Stephen Shannon, Milwaukee police are hard at work trying to figure out who would hurt Major and his mother Mallory and why. But tonight, family and friends put all of those questions aside and focused on honoring that sweet little boy.
I wish I could have seen your face one more time.
At the site of his son's memorial, Carlton Harris dropped to his knees.
Hallelujah! Hallelujah. Thank you, God. Amen.
Amen. Candles, photos, and stuffed animals mark the spot where 3-year-old Major Harris was found. Family, friends, and strangers huddled together in a tight embrace Friday night, praying and crying for little Major.
They appreciate Milwaukee. The community, the inner city, you showed up. And you showed up.
This horrific tragedy intensified Friday when the medical examiner revealed Major was shot in the head.
My son was shot in the head, a 3-year-old baby. Pray for this city, please. Pray for the evils of this city.
Major's mother, Mallory Munzenberger, was found shot to death near 37th and Clark last Thursday.
So for the people who were asking, what happened to the mom? What happened to the baby? It looks like they were both shot. Now, I can't say whether they were shot in the same area or not, because the boy was located in a different place. He was moved. He could have been shot after being moved, but we don't know. We don't know. And again, if you guys are listening, do me a favor, for as many people who are watching, if you'll look at that number, make sure you guys click that thumbs up, because we do want more people to know about this story. So if you can help us by doing that, that would be immensely helpful by clicking that thumbs up. Doesn't cost anything. All it does is just brings more people in, and YouTube will notify more subscribers, okay? Let's keep going. Both of them were shot. And yes, I'm going to ignore the balloons, and I wish people would stop doing balloon releases, but hey.
She and Major are from the La Crosse area, and it's still a mystery why they were in Milwaukee. But that doesn't matter to the community here. They searched for the little boy for days. Those efforts caught the eye of the mayor.
The community response, both in terms of being supportive of the family, as well as trying to really see what they could do to find Major.
Major was found not far from where police say suspect Jaheim Clark died by suicide on Sunday, and where Mallory's car was recovered on Monday. Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman says new surveillance cameras in the area spotted it. And while the search for his son has come to a close, Carlton's search for justice is just beginning.
It's a loss that's not finna be forgotten or swept under the rug. I refuse to let that happen.
Okay, they did do a balloon release. Do candlelit vigils. Make t-shirts. Plant a tree. Don't just let air litter go into the air. They're actually making it illegal in some states, just to let y'all know. It's a real big deal. Stop doing balloon releases. It's really, really bad for the environment and animals, and it trashes our environments. Those balloons do not go into outer space. They go up into the air and they come back down, and somebody's got to clean that stuff up. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of balloons. It just doesn't make sense to waste money and resources like that. Just throwing it out there. I'm going to say that every time I see it, okay? Here's what I want y'all to think about, because I've got some theories. At first, I was thinking maybe this was just a simple carjacking. Maybe they just tried to rob her of her car and it went wrong. Maybe they tried to cover it up, because a dead witness is no witness. But then I thought about it and I said, now why would one of these individuals kill themselves? And I think that's where the biggest question lies. That's the biggest X factor. So what I'm about to say after this next couple of videos is going to simply be my opinion. I don't know this to be a fact. but I do think I have a very strong case to present, okay? But tell me what you guys think. Why do y'all think that man killed himself?
We have new information tonight in the death investigation of Major Harris. The medical examiner saying the 3-year-old boy was killed at or around the same time as his mother, Mallory Munzenberger, earlier this month. Aaron Maven is live outside the medical examiner's office where the autopsy was performed. Aaron?
Well, Ted, the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's Office telling us today that Major could have possibly been dead a week before his body was found. At the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's Office, new information surfacing in the death investigation of 3-year-old Major Harris. The medical examiner revealing Monday that he believes Major was killed at or around the same time as his mother, Mallory Munzenberger. Her body was found October 14th in a backyard near 37th and Clark. A week later, on October 21st, a tip led investigators to Major's body near 35th and Roar. Authorities say he was shot in the head. DNA evidence was used to positively identify the boy's body.
Anybody who can do that to a 3-year-old little boy, this place is evil.
In a news conference Friday, Carlton Harris criticized the search for his son. Authorities launched an Amber Alert once they learned the boy was missing and canvassed communities.
My plea to the world, I need justice for my son. And I want justice for my son.
Police say the main person of interest in connection to the case, Jaheim Clark, died by suicide as police closed in on him during a manhunt. Last week, arrests were made in connection to the homicide of Mallory Munzenberger. Monday, Milwaukee police said there are no updates and criminal charges have not been issued. As the investigation continues into the deaths and why the mother and son from the La Crosse area were in Milwaukee, the medical examiner's office confirmed the child's body was transported to a funeral home in Madison. So Major Harris's father reportedly wants his son to be buried in the Madison area, while the Munzenberger family wants the boy to be buried with his mother in the La Crosse area. This is something that continues to be discussed. Funeral arrangements have not been announced. Reporting live in Milwaukee, Aaron Maben, Fox 6 News.
Aaron, thank you for that update.
We begin tonight at 10 with the search for a 3-year-old little boy, the son of a recent homicide victim. An Amber Alert was issued late this morning for Major Harris. Jessica Maduker spoke with the boy's father.
I'm afraid that my son might not be okay.
Fearing the unimaginable this morning as an Amber Alert was issued in Wisconsin, Carlton Harris Jr., who lives in West Virginia, learned his son, 3-year-old Major Harris, is missing.
He's energetic, always energetic, always happy. Always happy.
And Major's mother, 25-year-old Mallory Munzenberger, is dead, found near 37th and Clark Thursday with obvious signs of trauma, according to Milwaukee police.
Basically at a loss for words. Like, I don't even know how to even feel about it.
Police believe Major might be with 20-year-old Jaheim Clark, who they consider a person of interest in the homicide of Mallory. Investigators say Jaheim and Major could be in a black 2008 Chevrolet Equinox with Wisconsin license plate ABE 2804.
Like, please, I pray that you just let them come home.
Carlton doesn't understand why Mallory and Major were in Milwaukee. He says they lived in La Crosse.
I have not the slightest idea of why she would even be down there.
That is a little bit peculiar because I thought that maybe she came back for the dad, but apparently that's not the case. And yes, you can see the logo on my chest. Some of y'all know what this means, and some of y'all know where this is getting ready to go. Okay? That's what I was thinking at first. I was thinking like, okay, maybe she came down for him, but if he's saying no, that she didn't come down here for me, then why would she come down there in the same area where her baby dad lives at? If I'm not mistaken, I think he lives in Milwaukee, right? If I'm not mistaken. But somewhat in the vicinity of that area. Why would a woman move to that particular area and this thing happen in less than a month? I don't think this is just some fly-by-night luck type, bad luck type thing. I really don't. Because you got to think about it. Not only did they shoot and kill the mom, they had zero reason to shoot that baby. A 3-year-old boy, kill him for what? Doesn't that sound like that could be potentially something like revenge? Are they doing this because of the dad? Is this potentially a new boyfriend type situation? Trying to clear out the old herd? Huh? I have a theory, and I actually have another news article, and thank you, Ginger, for sending this to me. And I think I'm gonna shed a little light on this. I'm not sure if anybody else has already talked about this or not. Okay, but we'll get to it here in just a moment.
Carlton says he was trying to bring Major to West Virginia to live with him. He says Mallory needed help.
I just can't sleep, and I'm not gonna sleep. I'm praying that he's safe and that so whoever got him just like give him back and I can come get my son.
Carlton is on his way to Milwaukee to be closer to the investigation. He has a lot of unanswered questions, but ultimately hopes he will leave here with his son. If you have any information, police are urging you to call the number on.
Let's go ahead and get to our last video here real quick. And also, I think we have another YouTube content creator in the chat. Black Girl Unlost, the series. If you have a YouTube channel, let me know, because if you do, if it seems like people in the chat know who you are, then we want to be able to send some people over in your direction as well, so that way we can make sure and share things the same way that we do. We'll make this go viral. Leave it to Bieber, Chris Thorns, and a lot of other people. Okay, but yeah, if you got a channel, make sure to let me know, because I think I've seen your channel before, but I don't quite remember. Y'all know my memory is not that good, okay? But I just want to say that real quick. All right, let's keep going. Last video.
First breaking news in Milwaukee. Police say they've made several arrests connected to Mallory Munzenberger's death. She is the mother of 3-year-old Major Harris, the subject of an Amber Alert issued Saturday morning. Major Harris is still missing.
12 News' Ben Wagner leads us off live at 10.
And Joyce, these arrests from Milwaukee police are the first in the homicide case of Mallory Munzenberger. So far, police haven't said who has been arrested or how many are currently in custody. But MPD was clear about one thing. They say no arrests have been made in the disappearance of Munzenberger's 3-year-old son. It was Thursday when Munzenberger was found dead in a yard near 37th and Clark in Milwaukee. Police say from multiple gunshot wounds. 2 days later, an Amber Alert was out for her son, Major Harris. Investigators quickly developed a person of interest in Munzenberger's death and Harris's disappearance, 20-year-old Jaheim Clark, who police say shot himself Sunday. Since then, police and volunteer search parties have been looking across the city for the little boy. Harris's father has been in town all week. Today, he voiced frustration with the Milwaukee police investigation to find his son.
Do I feel like they're doing their jobs? Hell no.
Now, I think somebody in the chat said that he's not actually from Milwaukee. You said he's from Madison. Okay. Thank you for clearing that up for me. So let me retract that. Y'all are saying he's from Madison, Wisconsin. I don't know those areas, so I'm really not sure what's what, but thank you for clearing that up, because that is important. But I want to call something out here. I'm going to let y'all hear this again about how he talks about the police. Listen at this again.
Find his son.
Do I feel like they're doing their jobs? Hell no.
Voiced frustration with the Milwaukee police investigation to find his son.
Do I feel like they're doing their jobs? Hell no.
And I want y'all to listen at why he said, hell no, the police aren't doing their job. I want y'all to listen at this insanity. Sorry, Dad. I got to call it the way I see it. Listen at this.
I don't. I've been out here walking, searching for my son. I have seen no dogs. They ain't went through no water or no nothing. They ain't searched no lakes, no nothing.
Y'all hear that? Let me let you hear it again.
Do I feel like they're doing their jobs? Hell no. I don't. I've been out here walking, searching for my son. I have seen no dogs. They ain't went through no water or no nothing. They ain't searched no lakes, no nothing. It's a 3-year-old little boy. I'm not understanding any of this. The Milwaukee Police Department is a joke.
He said the Milwaukee Police Department is a... Somebody said, Boosie, calm down. Boosie, calm your nerves, sir. Please. Okay? Now, his real name is Carlton Harris. But I like to think that he's related to Boosie in some shape, form, or fashion. But don't y'all think that's wild? How is it that every single time that black people lose their kids or black kids are murdered by other black people, yes, this was by black people. This was not white supremacy's doing, okay? This is black folks doing this to black folks. And somehow it's always the police's fault. Have y'all not noticed that? Always the police's fault. I think that's the insanity. That we do these things to ourselves. We won't call out the thugs with guns. We won't call out the criminals. We won't call out the rapists. We won't call out the non-law-abiding citizens that live in our community, that are our neighbors, that hang out in our hoods and our clubs and all this stuff. Won't call them out at all. But as soon as they do something stupid, now all of a sudden it's the police's fault for what? You said they didn't search the lakes, which I actually have pictures that they did. You said that they not out looking for your son, which they were. They ended up finding him. They searched surveillance tape, which is how they ended up finding the car. Matter of fact, he said they didn't have dogs. How do you know they didn't? Matter of fact, black people love to have pit bulls and Rottweilers and all these other crazy animals, right? Why don't y'all go get y'all some, instead of wasting y'all time with pit bulls and Rottweilers and bully pitties and all of that stuff? Like, I get it, they look cute and all, but since y'all got so much crime out there in Milwaukee and Madison and wherever the hell else you're from, why don't y'all go get you some bloodhounds? Let me tell you a little story. When I was growing up, my mom's dad actually used to have bloodhounds. Yes. So we actually had dogs. Matter of fact, one of my first dogs was actually given to me by my grandfather, and, you know, R.I.P. to him. But what, like, why are we not getting dogs that would be useful for something like this, especially when y'all live in high crime communities anyways? Get you some German Shepherds, get you some bloodhounds. Y'all black asses should have been out there looking for them damn kids, should they not? Matter of fact, have y'all guys never been to, like, what, a place like Academy? Don't they sell scuba gear at Academy? Huh? Y'all got money for big ass chains and big rims and stereo systems, and you got money to cut your hair and look like Boosie every damn week with the Boosie fade. Got money for that? Why don't you go get you some scuba gear? Why don't you take your black ass and your friends, why don't y'all go out there and go scuba dive in the fucking lake? How about y'all go do that? What's stopping y'all from going to go search and go dive in the lake? Huh? Maybe go get you some drop nets, some stretch nets, or whatever the hell you call them. Go get you a boat, go drag them. Like, y'all got money for all these wild cars. I see y'all at a lot of these car shows. Black folk. Is that not a fact? I've seen black folks at car shows that probably got cars that's probably worth more than $100,000. I know some of these damn quick fast boats don't cost that much. Go get you some boats. Like, man, there are things that we can do ourselves instead of constantly waiting on the police to come and help us. I could actually tell y'all a very personal story about a time when I didn't have to wait for the police, but I'm not going to tell y'all that story right now. But you don't always have to wait for the police to jump in and do things that you could do yourself. Did I say something that was factually inaccurate? Are y'all still on the father's side? Well, maybe you won't be after I tell y'all the article that Ginger just sent me. Are y'all ready for that?
Period. MPD responding Wednesday, saying they hear Harris's concerns and continue to work tirelessly to find Major, who has now been missing for nearly a week.
And Ben, I understand you reached out to police about tonight's developments?
We have, Joyce. Still no specifics about who's been taken into custody or the nature of the charges against them. Police only saying several arrests have been made and that Major Harris is still missing.
Let's stay on.
I guess my point about it is not to say, because that is what we pay our tax dollars for. But I think the majority of what I'm trying to say, let me give y'all a perfect example. Do y'all remember when Katrina hit and a lot of these storms that hit Louisiana, and shout out to my people from Louisiana? Did y'all notice how a lot of them, like the Cajun Army, do y'all know what the Cajun Army is? Does anybody have any idea what the Cajun Army is? They are people just like us that took their money and took their time to buy boats and things that people would need in order to try to help other folks. They just put their money where they knew, excuse me, they put their money and their resources into things that they said, we're not going to wait for the police to show up. We're not going to wait for the Red Cross to show up. We're not going to wait for the National Guard to show up. That's literally what the Cajun Army is. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I've been to Louisiana a couple of times actually, and I kind of follow the history. Is it the Cajun Navy? It's one of them, whatever it is. But they help themselves while they're waiting for help. So while they were waiting for help from the police, they could have been out looking themselves. I'm just saying we could be a little bit more proactive and constantly stop complaining about the police. All right. Now let me tell you guys a little bit of something about the Boosie lookalike, the biological father, Carlton Harris. So from this article, and I hope that, let me make sure, let me check my email, make sure I'm not missing anything else. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to go back to my article. So whoever sent me that last email, you'll have to wait because this one is actually pertinent to the story, okay? So give me a moment. I'll get back to your email here in just a moment. This article says Carlton Harris, the biological father. Let me see if I can get his face back up here real quick. This guy, the dad, the father of murdered child, Major Harris, and this is according to news source WisconsinRightNow.com. WisconsinRightNow.com, article by Jim Piwowarczvk, whatever that is. So y'all can blame him for this. He said that the father of a murdered child, Major Harris, has repeatedly bashed the Milwaukee police in televised press conferences. But what the media haven't told you is that he is wanted on warrants in multiple cases across 3 counties for various offenses, has open charges for serious domestic abuse, related violent felony crimes, and has a child support lien through the Wisconsin Department of Children and Families. Hashtag not my words. I hope this dude know what he's talking about, Ginger, because if he's wrong, he could be sued. Damn. He said, we thought long and hard before publicizing the open warrants and criminal charges of a murder victim's father and wouldn't do so in most cases. However, Carlton Harris has stepped out of the grieving father's role and has chosen to trash Milwaukee police. Furthermore, he doesn't appear to have been very involved in his son's life. Those facts and the extremely serious and widespread nature of his warrants and charges mean the public deserves to know the full story to judge his comments against authorities, which have been widely reported in the news media, which has pushed the family's GoFundMe page, which I think I can show you guys this. Somebody flagged it. If y'all can see that. Content campaign not found. They flagged down the GoFundMe page. So I don't know what's up with that, but the GoFundMe is not there unless they put up another one. They said that he's literally trashing the police while being wanted by police in counties from La Crosse to Sauk, S-A-U-K, if you're going to publicly bash the police, I hate that word bash, on TV, the fact that you're currently sought by police becomes irrelevant. I don't know about that. Anyway, in addition, he's now threatening to sue the family of the boy's murdered mother because they want the child to be buried with his mother in La Crosse. He wants the child buried in Madison, and this is the part where I think Alyssa Deeds told me about this earlier, where they were fighting over where this baby boy was going to be buried, and that can be a very, very ugly thing to have to go through. They can't just lay this baby's body to rest. They're going to be fighting over where he's going to be buried. It's just a really sad thing to have to go through. Because I think that to be honest, I think both sides of the family have rights to have him buried where they want. And I wish they would just come together and just end all of that BS, okay? Now, he wants the child to be buried in Madison, and it's worth noted that some of Carlton Harris's open warrants are in La Crosse. Carlton became extremely agitated and threatened to sue the family of Mallory, along with the spokesperson who initiated the call to him. He stated he will be hiring a lawyer and plans to sue the Milwaukee Police Department as well, the mother's family said in a statement. Furthermore, there is a long pattern. In 2012, this is where it gets interesting. I hope y'all are ready for this. In 2012, Harris was featured in a Madison.com article that used the cliched line that he was turning his life around. That story revealed that Madison police had named him one of the city's top 10 chronic violent offenders. If any of that information is wrong, you could definitely be sued for a hell of a lot of slander and libel. That is a hell of an indictment. Now, I don't have that. Like I said, I'm reading this again from WisconsinRightNow.com, and I'll give y'all that reporter's name here in a minute. I'll re-say his name here in a minute. He was listed as the city's top 10 chronic violent offenders. The biological father. Damn, Carlton, thank you. That story says that he tried to shoot a fellow high school student while out on bail for drugs and shot at a security guard outside a Minnesota bar. Not that guy. Let me get him off the screen for now. Now, how many of you guys have heard about that part of the story? Because I damn sure didn't. I don't even know if my guy Chris knows about that. I'm going to have to inbox him and ask him if he knew about this. I'm going to have to send him this article. They said that the dad tried to shoot a fellow high school student while he was out on bail for drugs and shot at a security guard outside a Minnesota bar. Wow. They even listed some of his open charges. Oh my goodness. Can I expand this? Wow. Woo. Take and drive vehicle without consent, number 1. Number 2, false imprisonment. Number 3, domestic abuse. Number 4, battery. Number 5, domestic abuse. Number 6, disorderly conduct. Number 7, domestic violence. These are things that people on news websites looked up in public records. What does that mean? That means that the mom, since this was back in 2012, could have looked this information up on him and did a simple background check. Instead, it sounds like she had a baby by a thug. Hashtag, when you date thugs, you date death. Is that not what the shirt says? Where's my brother Dre the Dream at? Hashtag, when you date thugs, you date death. which we're going to get to him here in a moment. Let me finish reading this article. Among other comments, Harris labeled the Milwaukee Police Department a joke, which y'all heard him say that, at the department's efforts at an epic fail. He called the department negligent in his son's death, which is stupid to even say that. Do I feel like they're doing their jobs? Hell no, he said. I don't. The Milwaukee Police Department is a joke, period. That's what the dad said. Y'all heard the interview. I feel like the community cares, but I feel like the police department is negligent. A lot of people here don't have faith in the police department. That's an issue here. Well, I'll get back to my thoughts here in a minute on that. Golly, they wrote a long article. They accused this man of not even raising his own son. Oh my goodness. Woo. Let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all want me to skip what they're charging him with, what his open charges are, or do y'all want me to read them? We're live right now. I'll wait for y'all to answer that question in the chat. They actually listed Carlton Harris's open warrants. Do y'all want me to read them? If y'all want me to read them, hit that thumbs up for me. Please share this and let more people know that we're live talking about this story, okay? If you want me to read them, I'll try to read them really quick. Let me see how many people we have watching, and then we'll go ahead and keep going forward. We are at 725 people watching, which means we should be able to reach our goal of 600. Please. Can y'all please click that thumbs up? If y'all can get us to 600 thumbs up, all we need, because y'all are about 30 seconds behind me. So if everybody listen to the sound of my voice right now, please click that thumbs up. We should, within a few seconds, ought to be able to reach 600 real quick. Can y'all do that? Just for a second. All you got to do is just look down, click that thumbs up, make sure it is blue. Y'all said read it? Read it? Click that thumbs up. We're at 440. Within about 30 seconds, we got more than 700 people here. We need to be at 600. Can we get there, please? Real quick. You said, don't be like our who? Said, leave this man alone. He just lost his son. No, this part is actually relevant. This part is relevant, Lala. Let me tell you why. Because there has to be a reason why they murdered the mom and murdered his son. There is a reason why. And I think that all of this might be tied together in some shape, form, or fashion. That's what I want you to catch. I'm not just crapping on this man's name just because. This article is actually pretty relevant. Now, thank you, Ginger, for sending it to me. Y'all click that thumbs up. We need to look down and see that there are 600. How many do we have? I need one of our moderators to let me know where we're at, please. Here we go. Let's take a look. The biological father, Carlton Harris's open warrants. In SAUK, Sauk County, Carlton Harris is charged with serious felonies, false imprisonment, which is domestic abuse, and take and drive a vehicle without the owner's consent. He's also charged with misdemeanor battery and disorderly conduct, domestic abuse. A bench warrant was issued on November the 13th of 2020. The court records say that there was a notice of completion on January 27th of 2021, but there are no notations since. The warrants were issued when Harris didn't show up for court. La Crosse County. Carlton Harris is wanted on a warrant for 2 misdemeanors, retail theft, and bail jumping. A bench warrant was issued on September 17, 2020, when Harris didn't show up for court. That was the last hearing date in court records. In a separate case, he's wanted on a warrant on an open misdemeanor charge of operating after revoked disorderly conduct, domestic abuse. A bench warrant was issued on August the 24th of 2021. There are no other hearings listed in court records. Unable to forward court records say under his address in Dane in Dane County. Outstanding warrant in domestic violence, civil injunction against Carlton Harris. The warrant was issued on October 6, 2020, when he didn't show up for a hearing to surrender firearms. It remains outstanding. Let me skip that part. In addition, an arrest warrant was issued in a criminal traffic operating after revocation, or after his license was revoked, I guess, and revoked due to alcohol controlled substance refusal case in the same county of October 5th of 2020. It too remains outstanding because he didn't appear in court. In addition, the Wisconsin Child Support Agency took both Harris and Major's mom, Mallory, whatever her last name is, to court in 2019. Placement of the boy was given to Mallory, and Carlton Harris was ordered to undergo job searches and pay some cost. She did not request child support. She did not request child support. He also has a paternity action involving another child for which the court made findings against him of contempt of court. Now here's the child support lien. Carlton has a child support lien through the Wisconsin Department of Children and Families for $14,496.40. That lien was filed through Dane County on October the 6th of 2019. It's not clear which child support lien that was for. Major Harris was not his only child. On his criminal convictions. Guys, I'm not trying to crap on this man, but I think this article is relevant to at least hear it. Can we at least listen to it? Don't get mad at me. I'm just the messenger. Somebody sent me this article, okay? Now, it says in 1997, he was convicted of serious felonies. First degree, recklessly endangering safety with use of dangerous weapon, bail jumping, and misdemeanors for possessing a dangerous weapon, carrying a concealed weapon, and obstructing and resisting an officer in Dane County. He was sent to prison in that case. Now I want y'all to remember that I said the mom could have did what? Did a simple background check on him and found out all of this information. Yes? The same year, he was convicted in Dane County of felony cocaine dealing. His other convictions are for 2 counts of drug possession, misdemeanors, operating after revoked, criminal traffic, 2 counts of bail jumping, misdemeanor, domestic violence, misdemeanor, disorderly conduct, domestic abuse, misdemeanor. He has burglary and assault with a dangerous weapon felony convictions out of Minnesota. Why did I that is a long rap sheet. Why did I bring up all of that? Here's why. Because I still don't know why the little boy ended up dead and why the mom ended up dead. And we still don't know why the mom came back to this area. Okay? So let's think about this. The mom came back. He's claiming that the mom didn't come back for him. So if the mom didn't come back for him, for the baby dad, which actually would have made sense, then what does she come back to that area for? Because they said that she's not from there. So if you ask me, a mother doesn't just up and move to a place like Milwaukee, except for if she's going there for somebody specific. In this case, let me bring up a picture. I want you guys, y'all are going to get so mad at me. Some of y'all in the chat are going to get mad at me. This is the mom's baby daddy. God, y'all are going to hate me for this. I'm so sorry that I have to do this. Look at this man's face, okay? This man's face looked like he's had a hard knock life for us. He's had a hard knock life for us. It's a hard knock life. That's what his face looks like. Why am I talking about this man's looks? Here's why. Because if she were willing to be with that man with the gold teeth and the face that looked like it's been through some better days, what do you think she would think if she looked at a face like that? A face that's a little bit younger, a little less tainted, a little more cute, and a lot younger. You guys get my point? Remember, this is all speculation, so don't get your panties in a bunch, okay? This is all speculation. If you ask me, I think the mom might have slept with this man because if you look at her baby dad, her track record ain't that freaking good, okay? She had sex with a man who's got a rap sheet longer than the Nile River, okay? She's 25 years old, or was 25 years old. He's 20 years old. And I'm going to take y'all back to something that I actually said a few months ago. Do y'all remember what I said that men between the ages of 18 and 25, what they're good for? Do y'all remember what I said? What are men between the ages of 18 to 25? What are they good for, ladies? Does anybody remember? I can speak from experience. You usually are not going to be financially secure between that age. You usually are still trying to figure out what you want to become by that age. You might even be just starting to get your education up and get into your career by that age, working yourself up by the time you end up in your 30s, and then you might start to become a bit more stable and a bit more stable in your career and be financially okay. But 9.9 times out of 10, most men between the ages of 18 to 25 are only good for ping ping. They're only good for one damn thing. And if they're anything like me, you're probably pretty damn good between the age of 18 and 25 because you ain't really had a ton of experience. You ain't worn out. You're young and full of cum. You get what I'm saying? And I also want y'all to think about this. They usually say that women who have children, their first child will have their second child. This is a statistic you can look up. They usually have their second child within 24 months of their first child. Usually within 2 years. This baby boy that ended up dead, was about that age. Pretty close. So it makes sense that the mom was probably out on the prowl and potentially could have been with this man. So now you would have to ask the next question. Well, how did they end up dead, right? Now remember, a lot of this is speculation. How do they end up dead? Within a short amount of time. I'm thinking that something might have went really, really wrong. One of two things between them. Either something went wrong between that young man and the mother, and he ended up abusing her, murdering her, and then murdering her son, which is the guilt that he felt because he probably really liked that woman and wanted to be with that woman, and she ended up like, "No, you crazy, I don't want to be with you. And these plans didn't work out the way that I thought it would," and tried to leave, and he murdered them. That's scenario number one. Or, which could validate this article, that an individual by the name of Jim Piwowarski or Piwowarchek from the WisconsinRightNow.com website It also could because of the dad's history. He has a drug history. He has a weapons history. He has an abuse history. There's a lot of things going on that maybe that man that they found that murdered himself was trying to hurt the dad as well, which could have been the reason why he killed his son. Could it have been a drug debt? Potentially. Could he have owed some money? Potentially, yes. Which is also why, if it were a hit, which is why they had about 6 people that they arrested in connection with this thing, but they weren't able to make the connection. Do y'all get what I'm saying? 3 possible scenarios. One of them being personal. And I think that the boy might have just really liked that girl and killed himself and felt guilty. Because why else would you turn the gun on yourself? Especially if everybody was involved, unless everybody was talking about they were going to snitch on you and point the finger at you. But usually in a place like Milwaukee, usually birds of a feather going to flock together. They're going to ride together and they're going to take their time together, or they're going to just not say nothing about each other. That's why I think this was probably something personal, or it could have been a drug hit, especially with the biological father's colorful past. Don't put it past him. I'm sorry, but that does matter. People in the chat might feel like his record doesn't matter. In this case, it does. Because your past will come back to haunt you. Yes? Y'all don't think that some of the stuff in my past might have tried to come back and haunt me? I believe it does. Which is why I've tried to dedicate my life to doing the right shit. Which is why a lot of people that I grew up with that were doing the wrong things are out trying to do the right stuff now. Trying to lead by example now. Trying to be better people now. Trying to raise our kids to be better people now. Why? Because I don't want something to happen to my daughter because of some dumb shit that I did. Because somebody want to get at me, maybe can't get me at the moment, and might end up trying to get at my daughter. Which is also why my daughter's mom tries to make sure to live the straight and narrow. To make sure that we both give our daughter an opportunity to grow up and become something great. I'm not saying the mother was a bad person, by no means. And I'm not saying that the dad is guilty of anything in this situation. But there's a lot of red flags in there, people, that cannot be ignored. Because let me tell you guys something. Until you have answers, don't get mad about the speculation. Until you have real concrete evidence, don't get mad about the speculation. Because these people really know what happened. Those 6 people that were arrested, I believe that some of them know what happened. And nobody's talking. Somebody knows what happened. And there's a reason why they took that boy's life. Because that was senseless. It was stupid. It was callous. That was hurtful. And only an asshole would do something like that to a baby boy. Let alone the mom. Neither one of them deserved that. That baby boy deserved every opportunity to grow up and become something great. And they robbed him of that opportunity. And for that, anybody, I don't care what side of the family it's on, anybody who is associated with that needs to pay. The one guy took his own life, so I'm going to assume that he was the one that committed the murders. But if anybody else saw something, said something, knows something, and didn't say something, they need jail time. Yep. They need to be convicted too. For withholding information, lying, and misleading the police. Because this is stupid. We keep pointing the finger at the police when this stuff is being caused because of our own actions and our own choices. We wouldn't even need the police if we would just fix our own problems and stop doing bullcrap to each other. It's very simple. These children can't speak for themselves, nor can they defend themselves, but it is imperative that we make sure and live a life that is conducive to raising children and be responsible. I'm speaking from a father's perspective. I'm speaking through eyes that have done things the wrong way, And I'm also speaking from experience of someone who's trying to do everything the right way. So that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm praying for. And I'm praying for change. And I pray that we could stop doing stories like this. This baby boy deserved to grow up and become something great. Young Prince, and I hope we get answers soon. But I'm going to use this picture. See if I can get back to it. Young Major Harris, R.I.P. Young Prince, R.I.P. And I thank those who were able to listen with an open mind as well as an open heart. And I thank you. Now, somebody said they want to call in. We actually got, look, we don't have a whole lot of time. It's almost midnight here in Texas. Who wants to call in? Because I really don't have a lot of time right now. Because I've still got 2 to 3 more stories that I have to tell. So if you want to call in, I'll give you the call-in link. Give me a moment. So to Lala. I don't know who Lala is. I've never seen you in the chat before. But that's okay. I'm going to give you my link. Not my link. But I'm going to give you the call-in contact. Give me a moment. StreamYard. Unless somebody has the StreamYard. It's the same StreamYard that I use all the time. I'm about to put it in the chat from my phone because I don't want to screw this computer up. I have a feeling that it's going to try to mess up or something, and I don't want that to happen. So, guys, we still got more stories to come up. Please hit that thumbs up. Don't leave yet. We still got a lot more to talk about. So, here we go. Let me see. Call in. So, I posted it from my DJ Just J. I posted it in there about 3 times. So that way you can see it. So Lala, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to call in. You can call in from a cell phone, a tablet, or your computer. You just have to make sure and have a microphone. If you do not want to be on camera, I don't have to put you on camera, but I do need to have your mic working. So before you click join the broadcast, I need to make sure that you turn your microphone on. So to anybody else, I'm not calling and asking for people to call in for their opinions. That's not this type of stream. I have a very limited amount of time. You said it's a waste of time. It could be, but we're about to find out. It very well could be. So I'm going to take a chance, but I got a lot more stuff to talk about. So please, if you would, Lala, I gave you the link in there under DJ Just J. Okay, click that link. Call in. I'm in the studio, and I do not see anybody in here yet. Say you're not calling in, so why y'all tell me to open up the StreamYard? Come on, man. Seriously? I could be on story number 2 by now. Come on. Let's not do that. So if you're not going to call in, then we're wasting time me doing all of that. Anyway, I just want you to let this father grieve. Your father ain't watching my video. He can grieve in peace. He ain't watching my video. He don't know me. I'm not trying to be mean, but I did see what you was in there writing though. I didn't miss that. Telling me not to be mean to him. Don't be mean to me in my chat. Please. It's mean to me to make me waste my time opening up the StreamYard and you're not going to call in. That's kind of a waste of my time. I'm not worried about respecting the father. How about we respect the kids? The father is quite grown. He's quite grown. Ain't nobody worried about respecting him. How about we respect these kids? How about that? Told y'all, advocate for kids first. If you advocate for children first, the rest of this stuff should roll right off your back, just like a shower in the morning, right? Y'all be too quick. Y'all kind of worry me sometimes, man, especially when people are real quick to defend somebody with a long-ass criminal history longer than the Nile River. I'm sorry, but something about that just don't sit well with me. La. That don't sit well with me, La. If you watch me for any length of time, you ought to know. You ought to know. Y'all don't have to block or time nobody out at all. But you ought to know better than that. Let's talk about this story. Oh, Lord. Houston, Texas. Oh, my goodness. Texas takes another L. Damn, are y'all ready for this, guys? Oh, my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, I just feel like I'm on repeat. Houston, Texas. What in the cotton-picking world is going on out of Houston, Texas? I got to do this again. And Texas takes another L. I got to make a big L. Got to make it nice and straight. My state, my home state, Texas takes another damn L. But why are we taking an L? I'm going to tell y'all, this story comes out of Houston. If we continue to keep talking about this narrative, I think I'm going to pull my teeth out my mouth. A Houston mother and her boyfriend. How many of you guys are surprised? And of course, they didn't name them. They didn't put their pictures out there. It's beyond me when people do heinous things, but yet they will not put their names and their pictures out there. I don't know what the police and the news reporters are scared of. I don't know what they're scared of. It's a simple accusation that's usually put on by way of the courts. Nonetheless, a Houston mother and her boyfriend were questioned and released without any charges after, and I need to warn y'all, the details about this story are going to be really, really bad. So if you read the title, it's probably going to turn your stomach. So if you need to turn away from the channel, this might be your opportunity. You might need to say goodnight and exit the video, or good day. All right? Because the details are not going to sit with your sensibilities, let alone my opinions. And I think I actually said that earlier. I don't know why people continue to get mad when I tell you in advance that my opinions are going to piss you off. Yes. Now, a mother and boyfriend were questioned and released with no charges after the woman's not one, not two, but three starving children who are between the ages of 7, 10, and 15 years old. They were found living alone in an apartment with deplorable conditions. Y'all should know what that word means by now. We've done about 4 or 5 videos on nasty people's apartments that are deplorable. What does deplorable means? That means stinky, that means nasty, that means trashy, that means empty, that means spoiled, that means poop. Excuse me. That means poo and pee everywhere. That probably means the toilets weren't working. Nasty bathtubs, no bed sheets, beds laying on the floor, roaches and stuff. Y'all know what deplorable means, right? Just freaking filthy. I don't care how poor you are, there is never an excuse to be nasty. I know homeless people who are not this damn nasty. They were found living in deplorable conditions along with the decomposing remains of their 9-year-old brother, who police said had been dead for a year. Let me say that again. They went to an apartment in Houston. They did not find mom or the boyfriend. Bookmark that. No mom, no boyfriend. They weren't there. They were gone. Nowhere to be found. 3 starving children were found because somebody called and did a welfare check. Said, I think I need to go over here and go check on these people. Okay, so the police go in there to go check, and they find 3 children ages 7, 10, and 15 years old. The 15-year-old, I'm sorry, I don't understand that at all. The 7 and 10-year-old, maybe. 15? You couldn't go for help at 15? Couldn't make a phone call at 15? You didn't know the number to 911 at 15? And I know that's a kid, and I'm sorry, I know we're the AFC, the Advocates for Children, but good Lord. Age 15? Let's get off of that for a moment, because I'm not here to blame the kids. I'm not here to blame the kids. Not going to do that. They were living in deplorable conditions. They were abandoned, and they were left there. But here's another huge effing problem. They were found to be living there with decomposing remains, a corpse of their 9-year-old dead brother that had been dead for at least 1 year. WTF. WTF is exactly right. So there were children who were ages 7, 9, 10, and 15. The 9-year-old died and been dead at least for a year. Guys, you're asking who paid rent. We're going to get into all of that because this story is already super confusing. If you guys are listening, make sure you share this story because I don't want nobody to miss this. Hit that thumbs up. Share this with somebody, okay? Because they need to know about this. The siblings and skeletal remains were found at 3535 Green Crest near Addicts Clothing and West Park Tollway in Houston, Texas around 4:30 p.m. on Sunday after police responded to a request for a welfare check. So somebody saw something, smelled something, and said something. The welfare check, oh goodness. The welfare check was made by the eldest child. The welfare check was made by the oldest child, the 15-year-old. So excuse me, I can't even give the neighbors credit for that. I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. What the hell is up with these apartment complexes? Let me tell y'all the way most apartment complexes work. They usually will enter your apartment for a few different reasons on a regular basis. For things like pest control once a month, if you need it, I guess. But most places I hear about them doing it once a month. And then also change your air filter. They usually do that in one go. But usually once a month, they will at least walk your apartment for some reason, right? So that means at some point within that time frame, they would have had to have smelled dead ass. You mean to tell me that the police walked in here, they found skeletal remains of a dead 9-year-old boy and nobody smelled nothing? That smell had to have been so damn strong. And I want y'all to think about this. You're not just talking about a dead body. Remember, they said that the apartment conditions were deplorable. Deplorable means absolutely ungodly filthy. That probably means from sinks being clogged up to dirty dishes to spoiled rotten food to bugs. That's going to emit a smell. You take those smells and mix it with the smell of death. Those apartments are not vacuum sealed. That means the smell got around. So you mean to tell me that the people got used to that smell for a year? I'm going to tell y'all, you could probably just drive in that area and probably smell that smell. You could probably be about 2 to 5 miles away from that house and probably from that apartment complex and smell that. Are you kidding me? Nobody noticed nothing? The apartments didn't notice. The neighbors didn't notice. The 15-year-old kid didn't say anything until a year later? I'm sorry. I am so lost. I'm so lost with this. So in 1 year, you had children who were ages 7, 9, 10, and 15. What else does that mean? That means you have at least 4 children who are school age. Maybe you could get away with hiding 1 kid that ain't in school, maybe 2, but how do you hide the fact that you got 4 children that aren't in school? And if they are in school, then that means what? That means that those children, and again, I'm not trying to place blame on them, but I'm just painting a picture for you guys. That means the children had at least the school time to say something. They were in a safe environment to have said something. If they were that scared, then I don't know what to say. But that is just extremely sad. But let's keep going. I don't want to try to harp on the kids too much, okay? Now, Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez said the 3 brothers were living without adult supervision for months. So if they were living without adult supervision for months, they had plenty of opportunity to leave. Go say something to somebody. Anyway, they were living without adult supervision for months in deplorable conditions, and the body of the dead child was on full display. The dead skeletal remains of that 9-year-old boy were on full display, prompting repeated complaints about a terrible smell from neighbors. The neighbors complained about a bad death smell, and they did nothing in a year. If you ask me, I think that apartment complex, whoever owns it, deserves to lose it. Take it away from them. That's ridiculous. In an update last Sunday, Gonzalez revealed that the children's mother and her boyfriend, which we ain't even got to that point yet, the mother and boyfriend were located and interviewed by homicide detectives. So I'm pretty sure most of y'all probably think they caught the mom, they caught the boyfriend, they're arrested, and this is going to end up going to trial, right? They're going to end up going to trial. They're going to get convicted. They're going to get life in prison for being the world's shittiest parents, right? But contraire, catch this. On Monday, the sheriff announced that the couple was released. They released the mom and boyfriend. The ones who abandoned the children, the ones who abandoned a dead child, the ones who left the apartment in deplorable conditions and left those children helpless. Did y'all hear that right? Did I read it right? Maybe I read it wrong, so I'll read it again. On Monday, the sheriff announced that the couple was released without being arrested or charged with any crime. Nothing. No crime. No explanation was provided for the decision to let the pair go at this time. In response to a request for comment, a spokesperson for the sheriff's office wrote in an email to the news, "This is an active investigation with charges pending." Better be a shit ton of charges. Authorities have not said whether or not they were looking for the children's biological father. While there were no indications that the children were locked in the house, they had seemingly been abandoned by the adults and were fending for each other. I think the oldest sibling was doing the best that he could to take care of the others. Oh my goodness. He did not say whom the apartment was registered to, nor who was paying the rent. And somebody actually said that in the chat earlier, and I'm sorry I skipped your comment, but you were 100% right. So did the apartment complex just let the rent go for 12 months? Did they pay the rent and then abandon the kids? And if they paid the rent there, why would they abandon the kids? Why would you abandon the kids anyway? How would you have money to pay rent for 12 months to a place where you're not even living at? Nothing about this makes any sense. They're connecting all the dots. It seems that they were in there while the body was deteriorating. Jesus. HCSO is now investigating to determine the circumstances that led to the death of the minor and how long the kids have been alone. A neighbor in the apartment complex told the news that she had complained for months about a foul odor emanating from the unit where the shocking discovery was made over the weekend. The teen also revealed that his parents... hold on, let me go back. My article disappeared. Hold on. Give me just a moment here. I accidentally refreshed. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. The teen also revealed that his parents had not been living in the apartment for several months. Deputies were dispatched to the apartment and found the remains of a small child, which is the 9-year-old boy. According to the sheriff, yes, and it could have been Section 8. I didn't even think about that. It could have been Section 8, so maybe the rent was paid for, or maybe it was really, really low rent. Which still... somebody would have still had to been paying it every month, though. I don't know. But anyway. According to the sheriff, who described the situation as heartbreaking, the younger siblings appeared malnourished and showed signs of physical injury. All 3 surviving children were taken to a hospital to be evaluated and treated for their injuries. The minors are now receiving professional assistance, and victims' advocates have been made available to help them cope with the trauma. Homicide investigators, along with CPS and child abuse investigators, are also working on the case, and it's unclear whether any of the surviving siblings were enrolled in school. It is unclear if they were enrolled in school. Ridiculous. Residents in the area said that management had been doing inspection rounds in the area for the last couple of weeks. A neighbor living next door to the siblings told the news that she had no idea there was anyone occupying that unit, let alone children. How does the apartments miss that? She said that 13 or 14 months ago, she first noticed a vile odor wafting from what she thought, I hope I said that word right, from what she thought was an abandoned apartment. The smell was so bad, I want y'all to hear this. The smell was so bad that the woman said that she would be forced to turn off her air conditioning to prevent it from entering her apartment through the vents. How did they not know that that was a damn dead body? There's nothing that smells like that. It was that bad, you couldn't turn your AC on. That's incredible. The neighbor says she complained several times to the building's management about the smell, but it is unclear if anyone had gone to the unit housing the siblings to inspect it, which it sounds like they didn't. And if they didn't, then again, that's another indictment on the apartment complex. Police said the investigation is still pending in preliminary stages. Let me see. Very horrific situation here. Very tragic. I've been in this business for a very long time and have never heard of a scenario like this. It really caught me by surprise, said Gonzalez when addressing the media. We're really trying to identify the next of kin to determine exactly what happened and how we got to this point, where we're going to make sure and conduct a thorough investigation. Here's the thing. You have a 7-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a deceased 9-year-old. Besides the deceased child, can't the 15-year-old tell you what the hell happened? Can't the 10-year-old? My 2-year-old daughter would have been able to tell you what was wrong, man. I'm sorry I had to say that. I know these are kids, y'all. I'm sorry. When my daughter was 2 years old, she could have told you what happened. These kids are 7, 10, and 15. This is just too much. Fair usage, let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Somebody's got to turn some logic out of this, man. But if you guys are listening, please make sure y'all click this thumbs up. More people got to hear about this story. If y'all would, please click that thumbs up and share this story, okay? Here we go. Let's get it.
This morning, a story that is making national headlines. 3 boys found abandoned inside an apartment unit in southwest Harris County.
Deputies say they made the discovery doing a welfare check. KPRC2's Sophia Ojeda live at the apartment complex where the children were found. Sophia?
Yeah, good morning. We know this morning authorities tell us that they have found the children's mother and the mother's boyfriend, and they are now being interviewed by homicide investigators.
I got to take a pause real quick because I think they're still in the chat. Barb Ruth. Thank you, Barb Ruth, for your donation. Thank you to Adrian. Last name starts with an S. And PayPal, if you're listening, thank you. My brother Dre the Dream, thank you. To Tara, thank you, Tara. Thank you, Tanea. Thank you, Jimmy D. And thank you, Dominique Holmes, for using those links in the description box. Thank y'all so much for doing that. If anybody else, y'all know what those links are, but let's keep going with the story, okay? Let's keep going. Let's get it.
We also have learned that the Harris County Sheriff's Office learned the 15-year-old brother was the one who called them and said his 9-year-old brother had been dead for a year and was in the room next door. A horrific discovery late Sunday at the City Park 2 apartments on Greencrest Drive in West Houston. Authorities say 3 boys were found abandoned with the skeletal remains of another sibling inside the apartment.
And when they arrived, they discovered 3 juveniles just at plain view. It appears they're living in pretty deplorable conditions.
Investigators say the 15-year-old brother called the Harris County Sheriff's Office and said his parents had not lived in the apartment for months. A 10-year-old and 7-year-old sibling were also there, malnourished and with some signs of injuries. The skeletal remains of a 9-year-old sibling were also discovered. Authorities say he had been there for quite a long time.
You know, very disturbing sets of circumstances, so we definitely want some answers for these children.
The sheriff said the kids were getting food somehow, but they were not sure how or who was leaving it. The children are now being checked out at an area hospital. The Department of Family and Protective Services now seeking emergency custody of the 3 boys.
really just heartbreaking, Tom. Now, Sheriff Ed Gonzalez was here, and he has been to many, many crime scenes throughout the years. He says he's never seen anything quite like this. It all happened at this apartment complex right here. And the question really tonight is, where were these parents, and how could they ever have let their children live like this? Authorities showed up to this apartment complex for a welfare check, not knowing the horrifying scene they were about to walk into.
Been in this business for a long time, and I had never heard a scenario like this.
3 kids, 15, 10, and 7 years old, found on the 3rd floor apartment, abandoned and in deplorable conditions. The skeletal remains of another kid also discovered. Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez believes they're all siblings.
It appears that they were basically fending for each other. Which is very sad.
The sheriff says the body has been slowly deteriorating for an extended period of time. As neighbors watch the investigation unfolds, many left with questions about where the parents could have possibly been.
That's really concerning because I'm a mom and I can never imagine leaving them abandoned anywhere. And it's kind of heartbreaking and it's sad.
Neighbors say the apartment complex, City Park 2 at West Oaks, has been doing inspections the past month. One resident shared this email with a reminder for her apartment. We were kicked off the property by management who wouldn't answer our questions about the last time that apartment was inspected.
Very disturbing sets of circumstances, so we definitely want some answers for these children.
The 3 kids now in the care of the sheriff's office. I'm Brooke Taylor, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Good evening and thank you for being with us. I am Xavier Walton, and we start with that disturbing discovery in West Harris County. These 3 children found abandoned along with the skeletal remains of a 9-year-old. Investigators say one of the children told deputies those remains are his 9-year-old brother who died a year ago. Zach Tawatara joining us from that area. And Zach, what have law enforcement learned about this?
I don't get how you sit and look at your dead sibling for a whole damn year. Dead. Day after day after. I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
Xavier, we're just outside the City Park 2 apartments near Addicts Clothing and the West Park Tollway. That heartbreaking discovery made inside those gates when deputies were making a welfare check. This investigation, Sheriff Ed Gonzalez says, is still in the very preliminary stages. It's a situation that neighbors can't believe, and the sheriff says he's never seen in his career. It's hardly imaginable. Children believed to be 15, 10, and 7 years old abandoned. The skeletal remains of possibly another, says Sheriff Ed Gonzalez, discovered on the 3rd floor of an apartment building in West Harris County.
Very horrific set of circumstances.
Becca, a mother who lives here, was devastated to learn about the heartbreaking discovery.
It's just crazy and absurd.
The situation hits her especially hard because she's a mom.
And I have a 21-year-old and an 11-year-old, and I can never imagine leaving them abandoned anywhere.
Sheriff Gonzalez says this living situation appears to have been ongoing for quite a long time.
I've seen a lot. I've responded to a lot of different scenes. So have these men, and we can never think of these type of circumstances coming together in this way.
The sheriff says it's possible that the skeletal remains belong to a sibling of the 3 children. Authorities are looking for any relative, as we don't know the identity of the parents yet. As for the children's condition, they're being evaluated and currently in the care of the department. The management company was on site but declined to comment. Xavier?
All right, Zach Tawatari, thank you, sir. Well, Precinct 4.
502 now to an investigation into a horrific discovery in West Harris County. 3 children were found abandoned along with the skeletal remains of a 9-year-old. Just a horrible story. Investigators say one of the children told deputies those remains were his brother's.
He said that boy died a year ago. Our Michelle Choi joins us live from that scene. Michelle, good morning to you. This is a very tough story you're covering this morning. What have you found out?
Yes, Steph and Lauren. Well, the sheriff's office says the children's mother and her boyfriend have since been found. At last check, were being interviewed by homicide investigators. As you mentioned, this story is both disturbing and heartbreaking. Deputies say the oldest of the 3 children found abandoned was the one who called 911. The 15-year-old claiming he and his siblings for the past year have been living with the remains of his younger brother in a room next to his. The gruesome discovery made here at the City Park 2 apartments behind me on Greencrest Drive. Take a look at some scene video video when deputies responded to that 911 call. Inside, they found a third-floor apartment, a 7, 10, and 15-year-old alone, as well as the skeletal remains of a small child. Deputies say the 7 and 10-year-old children appeared malnourished and showed signs of physical injury. All 3 children were taken to a hospital to be treated. They say the 15-year-old told deputies his parents hadn't been living in the apartment with them for several months. The situation shocking neighbors and even leaving the sheriff stunned.
I've seen a lot. I've responded to a lot of different scenes. So of these men, and we can never think of these type of circumstances coming together in this way.
No word yet on any charges. As for how exactly the little boy died, that'll be determined by the medical examiner's office. We're also waiting to find out why all of this is just now coming to light when the children were abandoned months ago.
Right.
Malnourished and showing signs of physical harm. That is what Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez is saying about a horrifying case of child neglect.
Children were found abandoned in an Alief area apartment complex. One of the siblings, a 9-year-old, was found dead inside. KPRC2 Sophia Ojeda joining us live from downtown Houston with the latest in this case. Sophia, good morning.
Good morning. I did just speak with Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez, who told me that the mother and the boyfriend, they were interviewed last night and they were released and no charges have been filed. Meanwhile,
I actually have a theory. I have a theory. How many of you guys want to hear my theory? I have a theory as to why the children were abandoned and what the mother abandoned the children for. Would you guys like to hear my theory? If you would, let me know. Make sure y'all also click that thumbs up. If you want to hear my opinion, my theory, before any of this comes out, let me know. I'll be glad to tell you what I think was the reason why her and boyfriend abandoned the kids.
Child Protective Services tells us an emergency removal is set to be filed today here in family court for the 3 brothers, and that CPS does have history with this family, but there was no active investigation at the time the children were found. The sheriff says they were called to the home on Greencrest Drive yesterday after the 15-year-old brother called them and said his younger 9-year-old brother was deceased and had been in the room next to his for the past year. When they arrived, they found the boy's remains in the apartment and the 15-year-old, 10-year-old, and 7-year-old living in deplorable conditions, malnourished with signs of injuries. The sheriff says the boys were getting food, but it's not exactly clear how they were getting it. Last night, the mother and her boyfriend were taken into custody and interviewed by homicide investigators. They have since been released and no charges have been filed. Again, there is an emergency removal hearing set for today here in family court for the 3 boys. We could learn a lot about what happened from that removal affidavit, but that is only if the judge chooses to release it. Of course, we'll stay on top of the story and bring you the very latest. The sheriff telling us that this case is still under investigation.
Ed Gonzalez, Harris County Sheriff. For a long time, and I had never heard a scenario like this. It really caught me by surprise.
And horrific discovery. That's what Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez is calling a crime scene at an apartment complex.
3 boys found abandoned inside an apartment unit. Their ages 15, 10, and 7. The Harris County Sheriff's Office says skeletal remains of a 4th child, possibly a 9-year-old sibling, also found. This disturbing discovery made during a welfare check. Now, deputies are working to learn exactly how this happened. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Sion Rhodes.
And I'm Jonathan Martinez. We've also learned the mother and her boyfriend are being interviewed by homicide investigators. It happened at the City Park 2 apartments on Greencrest Drive near the West Park Tollway. That's in Southwest Harris County. And that is where we find KPRC2's Bill Barajas. And Bill, we're learning other new information tonight as well.
Well, that's right. According to the sheriff's office, the 15-year-old boy, the oldest found in that apartment unit, is the one who actually called the sheriff's office to tell them that his 9-year-old brother had been dead for about a year and was in the room right next to him. He also told investigators his parents hadn't lived in the home for several months.
Crime scene tape was out front. The apartment in question on the 3rd floor at the City Park 2 at West Oak Apartment Homes. Residents and visitors to the complex shaken by the disturbing discovery.
This is very shocking for me, very shocking and sad, very sad. And my thing is, where's the parents and why would you leave your children?
3 children, ages 15, 10, and 7 years old, were found abandoned. Along with them, the skeletal remains of a minor and possibly a sibling of the 3 boys. Joy Shorter telling us there was an odor in the air.
It was coming all over here. And so we walked in. I was like, oh, something smells bad.
The county's top cop calling the situation horrific.
At plain view, it appears they're...
Sorry, I'm sitting there talking. Didn't have a mic on. Just realized that. And I said, no, it didn't smell bad. What I said was death doesn't smell bad. Death smells like death. It is a horrific, nightmarish smell. There's no mistaking that smell. So for that many people to ignore that is just absolutely insane.
Living in pretty deplorable conditions. I haven't been told that they were necessarily locked in, but that age, it appears that they were basically fending for each other.
Sheriff Ed Gonzalez saying the children did appear to have food, but didn't know where they were getting it or who was paying the rent at the complex. We tried asking management about the incident, but were asked to leave the property instead.
Guys would exit now. Thank you very much.
Oh, so she gonna come out and come kick them off the property. You see this little fat butterball turd? Look at this woman.
Guys would exit now.
Look at that. Man. So this woman could come bring her big, nasty, frumpy looking self out there and come tell them to get off the property from filming. But you know what? I think they ought to be protected by the police. Like, they ought to be able to be there. Like, hey, we're here with the Harris County Police. Like, whenever you have police, you should have investigators. That should go hand in hand. That should not be allowed, that woman could come bring her big frumpy self out there and come tell them to get off the property from reporting, when not reporting was the problem to begin with in the first damn place. Is it not? Nobody reported that these people had this apartment nasty. Nobody reported that these kids had been abandoned. Nobody reported there was a dead body in there. Nobody reported the bad smell. Not reporting is the problem. And now you're kicking out the reporters so they can't report, fat woman. Huh? Do we need to give you another hot dog? You want another hamburger? You mad because they didn't bring you no McDonald's? Like, why are you acting like that? That woman needs to be in jail for coming out there and telling them to get off the property. Are you kidding me?
Thank you very much.
And again, all this information coming down in the last few moments. It's still unclear right now how that 9-year-old sibling died. And the sheriff's office saying the children...
That woman is clearly ready for Thanksgiving. Big stuffed turkey looking self.
Did have some injuries, but are now in the care of the county. Again, the parents have been found and are being questioned by homicide investigators as we speak. Live for now in Southwest Harris County, Bill Barajas, KPRC 2 News.
That was the most opportune time to come out there and tell somebody to get off your property. No, ma'am. That's the time that they need to be on your property, to be reporting and getting some information over there, because it sounds like those people are being like they're hostages in their own apartment homes. Everybody shouldn't have to up and move because y'all asses didn't come over there and come take care of something very simple that would have taken you a few minutes to do. From the first time they reported it, the second, third, fifth, they just kept ignoring it. People couldn't even turn their air conditioners on. Are you kidding me? Look, here's my theory. Let's just get to my theory. Let's get it over with. Y'all see this shirt? If you can't tell what this shirt actually says, let me straighten it up a little bit. This shirt says hashtag babies for benefits. The reason why I created this shirt and I wear this shirt is because I believe that there are too many people out in the world that only have children so they can collect benefits from those children, off of those children, live off of those children. Whether it be to get Section 8, which I'm going to assume, which would actually be better for the apartment to actually be a Section 8 apartment, because if it is, that would actually explain why the rent was probably either cheap, reduced, or free, number one. Number two, also for food stamps, which doesn't come out of a person's pocket. It comes out of taxpayer money, like us, but they get food stamps. They also can get medical care. They also can get car vouchers in some places. If you look it up, I've actually found them. They are in a lot of states. You just have to look them up. Also, you can get child support if you didn't know. You could also, nowadays, since the pandemic, you could also get stimulus checks. You could also get child tax credits. That sounds like I didn't even talk. Did I even say child support? I don't know if I said child support, but throw that in there. Child support. Yes. Yep. So you're talking about a number of things that you can get, and those things can actually increase in value the more children you have irresponsibly. Hashtag not all for the people who are out there who are about as fast as molasses, who maybe didn't catch that, and if it went over your head, okay? That price multiplies as you have more kids. This woman had 4 kids. What do you want to bet that all 4 of those kids probably had different dads? Huh? Probably had different dads. And the reason I say that is because I want y'all to look at the fact that she didn't care about any of those children. She didn't leave 1, she didn't leave 2, she left 4 to fend for themselves. And it sounds like 1 died flat out from starvation, exhaustion, or something. Left him, but who was that whore found with? Talk to me, people, please. Somebody talk ghetto to me, please. Who did the police find her with? That's right, her penis. They found the biological mother and they found her penis pump, aka her boyfriend, a nigga that ain't shit. Found her with him, but didn't find her with her kids, which she was the one who chose to bring those kids into this world against their will and abandon them. What do you want to bet that the biological fathers probably had no idea that this was even going on, and they probably were denied an opportunity to be fathers to those kids because they had to jump through hurdles and hoops in order to have to pay for lawyers, go to court, pay inordinate amounts of child support, and they just said, screw it, you take the kids, I'm gonna go on about my happy little life. But I guarantee you, if the biological fathers would have known, they would have taken custody of their kids. If you would have just said, here, come pick up your kids, they would have done it. But you know why that didn't happen? Because I noticed nobody said this in the chat yet. Are you ready? Drum roll, please. Based on information that somebody gave me, and I keep my sources confidential, somebody actually told me the mother was still getting her check. Boom. So she still gets her money and still gets her penis and don't have to deal with the kids. And as of right now, she has not been admonished. She has not been scolded. Nobody has said a bad word about this bitch. Why? Because we don't know her name. We don't know the kid's name, so we can't attach it to the mom. The police and the media get real slick with this. They're making my job real hard, okay? They're making my job real hard. We have no name, no face, no case. Isn't that something? And she can go on about her little happy life, and she can continue to keep sucking and swallowing. Probably out making more kids. Continue to be irresponsible. I don't even think they allow this type of thing to go on in third world countries, let alone America, let alone one of the greatest states in the United States, Texas. But good Lord, Houston, come on. Houston continues to produce some of the worst stories I have ever heard of. One of my biggest stories, one of my biggest videos on this channel is out of Houston, Texas, the Samantha Bell story. How many of you guys actually listened to that story? Go listen to that one. They were in some raggedy apartments just like these, low income, just like these. And a mom who didn't give a crap about her kid, just like these. That can't be a coincidence. In one city, they continue to keep producing these stories. And I never run out of stories of these children missing, these children getting raped, these children getting shot, these children being stabbed, these children being burned. These children being left in deplorable conditions, because there have at least been 4 or 5 of them that I've done out of Houston on my channel. And children being left for dead. Why? Because mom still got her paycheck. It's just that simple. Mom valued that little bit of money, that little bit of monetary gain over her kids. Used them like they were nothing. Mom used these kids like she uses a pair of her dirty drawers. She change them when she want to, wash them when she want to, and throw them away when she want to, when it benefits her. As far as mom's dildo, her boyfriend, when these charges come out, because there's no way that they can't charge this mom with something that gets her at least 93 years in prison, at least. I think the boyfriend needs to get half as much time, unless he was the one who actually participated and caused the murder. But if he was just the tag along, he should at least get half of that. Give mom 93 years, give the boyfriend 48 years in prison. This is ridiculous. One of the dumbest stories I've ever heard. And again, I'm still having trouble because my daughter is almost as old. Actually, my daughter is less than 1 year older or younger, less than 1 year younger than this woman's oldest child. So I have a daughter this same age. And my daughter has been well educated, very smart, very bright, very intelligent for a very long amount of time. It wouldn't have taken 12 months for my daughter to go get some damn help. It wouldn't have taken her 12 weeks. It wouldn't have taken her 12 days. It wouldn't have taken my daughter 12 minutes. Maybe not even 12 seconds. I'm sorry to say that, and that breaks my heart to say that about these kids. But there is so much more to this story that maybe it's best for us that we don't find out what the real story is. But I hope we get justice for those kids, especially for the one that passed away. We'll definitely be doing an update on this. It's in my home state, so I'm going to hear about it probably just around the same time that y'all hear about it. We'll come back and we'll talk about this more, and we'll see if I was right about my theory, okay? Thank y'all so much for listening to the story with an open mind as well as an open heart. We'll be back for an update, okay? Thank you. How many of you guys have time for, what, one more story? Where did my icon go down here? Man, they didn't put me on Windows 11, and this thing is messing me up already. Pen. Let's see. Pen. Okay, there we go. I got to pin everything. I don't like that. I have... Actually, if y'all want to, I could actually do 2 more stories. Do y'all got time for 2 more stories? Let me thank a couple people who donated just now. 2 more people just donated in Cash App. I need to say thank you to Misty. Misty, are you in the chat? If you're in the chat, I need to say thank you, Misty. I did get your Cash App, and I want to say thank you very, very much. Also want to say thank you to Lil Bit. Where's Lil Bit? She is one of our channel members. Not only is she a channel member, but Lil Bit also donated by way of the Cash App. Showing some love. If y'all are listening, thank you. Thank you very much. Showing some love and appreciation for what we're trying to bring to this platform, and I thank y'all for supporting it, okay? Let me make sure I got everybody. I think I got Dre the Dream, my brother. I think he is still in there hanging in. He said he got some time. If y'all have time, I got 2 more stories, but these stories are going to be short. They're going to be short. They're not going to be as long as these because I felt like these were kind of extended stories, okay? I did. I got one more from Rosalina. Where's Rosalina at? If Rosalina, last name starts with an L, I'm not going to give your whole name, but if you're listening, thank you. Barb Ruth, thank you. To Adrian, last name starts with an S, thank you. And also Dominique Holmes. I think those are the last ones that came in. So thank you as well. And also Antoinette, last name starts with an M. That was from a couple days ago. And Vicky. Vicky, last name starts with a C. I think those are all the last ones that came in while we were offline. So if y'all are listening, thank you. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Where are we at with the thumbs up so I don't have to look it up? Can one of my moderators let me know where we are with the thumbs up? So let me get video off, picture, bring it back. Let's talk about another mom and boyfriend. Am I in pictures? Am I in the wrong one? Yeah, I was in the wrong one. Shout out to Windows 11. It's not quite as complicated as I thought, but it's still taking a little bit of getting used to. But I hope it ends up working better than Windows 10. But Windows 11 seems to be pretty good so far. But I just did the upgrade earlier today. So far, so good. I haven't had any issues yet. Still kind of customizing a few things, but so far, so good. We're at 674. Can we reach 700? So that means we only need 26 more people to click that thumbs up. You say you got all night? Oh, all right. Let's get it in. These stories are going to be really, really short, okay? Oh, and I'm sorry. Thank y'all for the super chats earlier. Like 3 or 4 people sent something in super chat. So let me say thank you to Inky Biss. Thank you very much for your super chat. Showing some love. I like that little emoji that you put in there. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Do y'all mind waiting for a moment? Because I totally skip people in super chat, and I'm sorry about that. Let me see if I could... Let me see if I can pull up this super chat real quick, please. Give me just a moment here. It shows me that, but can I see it from here? Chat rate, settings, health, viewer act. Ooh, it should show up here. It does, but why does it only show 1? Okay, hold on, guys. Hold on just a second. Let me pull this up real quick. So monetize supers. Okay, so here we go. So this is from today. So we got 3 today. So Diana, where's Diana at? If Diana is still in the chat, let me see. Are you still here, Diana? I think Diana is here. So Diana, thank you for your super chat. I see that it came through. To Sheila Johnson, thank you for your super chat. Cause yeah, she donated on the premiere. That was actually cool. So thank you. To Leah Brandon, if you are still in the chat, Leah, thank you. Said, great to see your face, Jay. You're absolutely amazing. Keep fighting for these kiddos, sir. Thank you very much for the amazing message. And Inky Biss, thank you. And thank you for the people who joined the channel membership. So there you go. I was able to get everybody. So thank you, Diane. Thank you, Little Bit. Thank you, everybody. Who's getting mad in the chat? I don't get it, man. Oh, let me see. I don't understand. I don't understand how a mother could do that to her own child or any child for that matter. I wish my husband and I could have had the kids. We both love kids. Man, that's just not even human what they did to those kids. I don't have a picture of this little girl, but I'm going to talk about this story anyway, because I normally like to wait until I at least have a picture of the deceased child. But let's talk about this. Ladies and gentlemen, how about another story out of Chicago? Just can't make this type of stuff up. Shout out to my brother Tommy. A Chicago man and woman allegedly beat a malnourished and tortured the woman's young daughter. So this is a mother. And I want y'all to look at that look on her face. And I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to say some things that are not going to sit well with your sensibilities. So if you can't handle that, this might not be the stream for you. But the details also might bother you as well. So if you need to exit, this might not be the video for you. But this man and this mother, alleged mother, tortured her own daughter to death inside their Marquette Lawn apartment, leaving the victim with extensive bruising, abrasions, and burns throughout her body, prosecutors alleged Friday. Millicent Arden. I need to spell her name for y'all. This woman with the smug look on her face. It looks like she's smiling. I wish somebody could take their hand and cock it back and go across her face with it and her teeth go flying out of her mouth. That would be awesome. This is her mugshot. Knowing what happened to her own child who she gave birth to. Her name is Millicent, M-I-L-I-X-E-N. If that's not how you pronounce her name, trust me, I don't care. Millicent Arden is 24 years 24 years old. And her boyfriend, Wilfredo, W-I-L-F-R-E-D-O, Wilfredo Cruz, who's 43 years old. They're both held with no bail, no bond, which is good. No bond following their arrest on charges of first-degree murder and the death of Arden's 2-year-old daughter, and this baby's name is Allison Zerais Arden. A-L-I-S-O-N, middle name Z-E-R-A-I-S, last name Arden, like the mom, A-R-D-O-N, on Tuesday. 2-year-old little girl. It would be awesome if we at least had a picture so we could pay homage to her. The list of injuries to this child is very extensive, according to Judge Mary Catherine Marubio said Friday during the hearing, and injuries have been listed demonstrate a long level of cruelty. A long level of cruelty to a 2-year-old baby, 24 months old. 2 years old. A long level of cruelty, abuse, and pain inflicted on this child over the course of a significant amount of time. A significant amount of time. Where's the biological father? According to the Assistant State's Attorney, James Murphy, Arden and Cruz, the mom and boyfriend, found the girl in her bed without a pulse Tuesday morning and took her to Holy Cross Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. I'm sure they didn't give a crap. What medical staff at the hospital found, Murphy said, was evidence of chronic and acute child abuse, caused by both Arden and Cruz and had lasted over a significant period of time that led to this baby's death. The girl's autopsy allegedly revealed she had extensive wounds across her body, her legs, her arms, and head that were in various stages of healing, which that usually proves over time. According to Murphy, some of the girl's non-fatal injuries included a hole in the left side of her face caused by being hit. That's hard to read. A hole in the left side of her face caused by being hit. Contusions across her head and neck. Abrasions on her lips. Severe burns on her hands. And patterned abrasions covering almost her entire body. Over a prolonged amount of time. How in the F word did nobody notice this? Zarice Arden was also underweight, so she was being starved, clearly. Underweight for her age and had yellowing teeth. But a medical examiner was unable to use the girl's skin as an indicator of malnourishment because she was covered in extensive bruises. The fatal injury was a rupture to the girl's stomach that allowed its contents to leak into the rest of her body. This was allegedly caused by blunt force trauma. According to Murphy, 2 roommates who had lived with Cruz and Arden at separate times said they repeatedly saw the couple According to Murphy, 2 roommates who had lived with Cruz and Ardens at separate times said they repeatedly saw the couple beating, neglecting, and otherwise mistreating the girl over the last several months. And they didn't do a damn thing to help this baby. They should be locked up for that. Don't y'all agree? They deserve jail time for that. They witnessed crimes to a child, a defenseless child, and they didn't say shit. Excuse my language. Don't they deserve jail time for that? Where's the justice in that? On multiple occasions, one of the witnesses would enter the apartment and find the little girl there left alone by herself. She had to have been less than 2 years old, less than 24 months old, and they left the child there, and she's got that look on her face that makes me want to do something to her. That's freaking evil. I'm trying to mind my tongue because I don't want to do a lot of cursing on this channel because we got a wide audience and I don't want to screw that up, okay? They found that she was left there on multiple occasions by herself. When the girl did anything to displease the couple, Cruz allegedly made her walk back and forth for hours in their basement hallway. Cruz was also allegedly seen shaking the girl by her arms when she refused to eat and beating her with a belt. Following their arrest, police searching the apartment found what they believed to be blood on the floor and the walls. Both defendants made statements to investigators admitting they had left the girl home alone multiple times and had tied her to a bed by her legs. And that's how she took her mugshot. In those statements, Murphy said both Cruz and Arden also admitted they never took the girl to receive medical care despite believing that she needed it. While Cruz was not the girl's biological father, clearly we already know that. Murphy said the couple shared caretaking responsibilities and would not have, let me say it again. They shared caretaking responsibilities and would have had no way to not notice her injuries. They are the caretakers for this victim, this 2.5-year-old girl who was tortured for most of her life. After hearing the state's allegations, Marubio found the pair alleged crimes involved exceptionally brutal and heinous behavior indicative of wanton cruelty, which is W-A-N-T-O-N, wanton cruelty, and ordered them both to be held with no bail, which I think is actually correct. They're due back in court on November the 9th, which is just right around the corner. I'm just speechless. This is one time I'm actually completely speechless. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. I've actually had people leave comments and email me and ask me, how do I not go crazy listening to these stories and looking this stuff up all day, every day? And I can't tell you. I don't know. I could just say I'm thankful that I haven't gone crazy. But it sucks. But somebody's got to be a voice.
Newark 6, a man and woman accused.
Matter of fact, this also pissed me off. Y'all know I spent probably about an hour trying to look up information on this story. Guess how many news videos I found on this story? One single story. And it's only 15 seconds long. Let's listen.
Newark 6, a man and woman accused of killing a 2-year-old girl. That girl suffered burns and bruises at a Chicago home and Chicago lawn. And police say these two are responsible and are now charged. Officers noticed the little girl's injuries at the hospital.
But we got time for celebrity news and BS and politics. All they had time to dedicate to this tortured, murdered, and abused baby was 15 seconds.
Newark 6, a man and woman accused of killing a 2-year-old girl. That girl suffered burns and bruises at a Chicago home and Chicago lawn. And police say these two are responsible and are now charged. Officers noticed the little girl's injuries at the hospital.
Just like that. That's incredible that in this area of Chicago where so much stuff is happening, I don't know if they're desensitized to it. Chicago already has enough issues as it is. But maybe I could just chalk this up and just say, well, it's Chicago. Is that how y'all want me to treat y'all city and speak about y'all city? Because I'm sure that there's some people, some good people that live there that don't want their city to be described that way. Well, how else do you describe a story like this that got zero media coverage? Nobody cared. It only takes a moment to share this type of information. We've got time to share information about freaking golf tournaments, about food fairs, about school events, about car shows, about all of this stuff that all of these sponsors are getting money for to put out in their news broadcasts to share that information. But we won't even dedicate a small slot to the babies who need a voice, that needed a story like this to be shared. It's very heinous. It's very hard to hear this story. But these children deserve their stories to be heard, and they deserve worldwide coverage. They deserve national coverage. They deserve the coverage. They deserve their names to be heard and spoken. This baby deserved to be known. She could have grown up to become anything, and she could have grown up to become something great in the hands of anybody else. Anybody else. And it's sad, but I bet you if the biological father would have been given custody of this baby, I bet the outcome might have been quite different. And I can only pray because it was in Chicago, so who knows? I'm very heartbroken and distraught about this story for a lot of different reasons. But more than anything, we hope to get justice against them. And there's a special place in hell. Hell is not full yet. Hell has plenty of space for baby murderers like these two assholes. Allison deserves her story to be heard. Young princess, if we could pay tribute to your picture, R.I.P. Thank y'all for listening with an open mind and an open heart. And maybe people will share this story, and maybe we could do an update, maybe even give you some semblance of closure with a picture, and make sure that these people get triple life in prison, maybe even the ultimate penalty under law, because they deserve it. To be honest, guys, I almost don't even want to do any more stories tonight. But I did promise you guys I did need to tell one more story. Did I download that video, though? Hold on. Maybe this one didn't have a video to it. Got pictures. Yeah, it did. Okay, it did. Okay. We'll make this. We got one more story to tell you guys real quick, and then we'll wrap up. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no way to describe the type of heinous ridiculousness that's going on with our children and our youth. It's very sombering. I think that's the word I'm looking for. But it bothers me to the furthest extent. But again, I do these stories because I want to bring light and attention to the things that are going on. And I feel like I have a unique perspective when I do give my opinions about these stories, because you know we advocate for children first. But I'm going to say some things in this story, and the details are going to probably bother you quite a bit. So if you can't handle that, understand if you need to exit the video. But I'm going to give some opinions as well, okay? Now, this story comes out of Tampa, Florida. And if you guys are looking at my screen right now, you might be wondering, why are there so many people in this photo lineup? And what did they do? And how does this involve children? Well, ladies and gentlemen, you might want to strap your big boy drawers on. And ladies, you might want to strap your panties on real tight, because this is going to probably blow you away. The sheriff this is out of Tampa, Florida. Sheriff Chad Chronister says a new Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office Human Trafficking Task Force, which is a long title. This task force completed their first undercover sting, and in their first undercover sting, they made 125 arrests. The 20-day sting, dubbed Operation Roundup, also resulted in freeing 4 women and 1 teenager from the trafficking industry. Among these arrests were, let me see if I can get their names back up here, their faces. These individuals, one of them, his name is Joel Velasco, who was identified as a teacher at an unspecified Hillsborough school. I wish they would have said which school he was at, but I'm sure the people out there in Tampa know which school he was at. So y'all might want to check on your kids, check on your babies. And Samuel Phillips, who was on the left-hand side, who was a church pastor. Another pastor. This is the second one in 1 month of us doing stories on our channel. So another pastor at a place called Be Limitless Church in Riverview. So they gave the name of the church, but they didn't want to give the name of the school that this dude on the right-hand side was teaching at. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's for a reason. But let's keep going. They both were charged with soliciting another to commit prostitution. Chronister said that others were thought to be in communication with kids. Let me see. Muntasar Shafiq. He's got a stupid name. The individual on the left-hand side is 35 years old, and he is accused of sending text messages too vile to fathom to what he thought was a 14-year-old boy. He wanted boys. Muntasar Shafiq. And the 48-year-old Valrico man was arrested by detectives instead. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed the part. Sorry about that. Philip Vaqueta, whatever. Philip, on the right-hand side, 48 years old, allegedly traveled to meet a 14-year-old girl, but he was arrested by detectives instead. The 12-member task force had previously worked together, but Chronister said they would now be working on such stings full-time. To see these types of numbers, to still see the number of women we are rescuing, I knew we had to have a full-time squad. We will continue this until we eradicate human trafficking in Hillsborough County, and I think that's awesome. According to the sheriff's office, detectives made contact with more than 1,000 potential Johns, which Johns, of course, are potential customers, many of whom declined to meet in Hillsborough County because of the success of these stings. Human trafficking survivors, including a person by the name of Connie Rose, who was trafficked by her father in 1970, applauded the effort by the sheriff's office and the creation of a new unit. You are setting this incredible message about don't buy sex in Tampa, said Rose, who runs the victim support nonprofit Victims to Survivors. We are very serious about eradicating human trafficking in our own backyard and these sting operations. That way, he runs them with his teams are absolutely phenomenal. Rose said, most importantly, the women who were rescued now have a chance to move forward with their lives. The most important thing is that they are out of being trafficked, being sold or rented out anymore. What really took me back on this particular one is that there was a teacher and a pastor, which of course is very significant because the community trusts teachers and pastors. And that these people are people that children look up to. And yet they're the very people that are out there by them. The victims were referred to The victims were referred to Sela Freedom, another organization that offers support and resources to women who survive human trafficking. Let me give you guys the fair usage. Let me show you. I think I have 2 news videos. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. All right. And if you guys want to support the channel, an easy way to do that, make sure you click this thumbs up, share these videos. Easy way to do it is click that thumbs up, okay? I need to say thank you to our friend who donated 2 times. This is her second donation. Barb Ruth said, I told my 15-year-old about this sad, sad story. He was devastated. He wanted me to send this for you to keep going. Broden, if you are listening, I can say his name. Broden, from my heart to yours, young brother, thank you very much. I did receive your donation as well as your message. Got an awesome mom. Thank you so much. And thank you. Truly, truly appreciate that. Thank you. All right, let's get it.
Hillsborough County ended with more than 100 people in handcuffs accused of preying on women and minors forced into the sex trade. The undercover bust comes on the heels of a newly created human trafficking squad at the Hillsborough Sheriff's Office. That's where Fox 13's Aaron Mesmer is for us right now, and it sounds like maybe these operations are paying off.
Yeah, and Sheriff Chad Chronister says undercover detectives actually made contact with more than 1,000 people, potential Johns, people who may have participated in this sex trade, and many of them declined to come to Hillsborough County because they knew how successful these stings have been. Watching this video hits home for Connie Rose.
The entire time that I was in high school, I was being trafficked.
By her father in Tampa during the 1970s. Connie knows what it's like for the 4 women and 17-year-old girl freed from human trafficking during a recent Hillsborough Sheriff's Office crackdown.
But the most important thing is that they're not out being trafficked, being sold, or rented out anymore.
The undercover sting, dubbed Operation Roundup, netted at least 125 men accused of exploiting and preying on minors and adults for sex. Those arrested include a Hillsborough public school teacher and a pastor from Tampa.
These are people that our children look up to, and yet they're the very same people that are out buying them.
This was the first bust conducted by a new full-time HCSO human trafficking unit.
To still see the number of women that we're rescuing, I knew that we had to have a full-time squad, and we will continue this until we eradicate human trafficking here in Hillsborough County.
The sheriff says the need for this 12-person squad goes beyond large events like the Super Bowl and WrestleMania, which saw a spike in these types of crimes.
The need to target that need and that demand, it's full-time. I think we saw it more robust because we know individuals are traveling to big events like that because of the abundance of the opportunity.
Connie, who now runs the nonprofit Victims to Survivors, says this is what's needed to keep the heat on people involved in the sex trade.
Don't come to Hillsborough County. Don't buy it in Tampa. We are very serious about eradicating human trafficking in our own backyard.
And victims who were rescued here, those 4 women and the 1 17-year-old, they were all referred to Sela Freedom, which is an organization that helps human traffic victims and survivors move forward with their lives. And Cynthia, one more thing that Connie Rose said that was interesting that I think should be pointed out is that she says these victims, they don't really, sometimes you don't know they're victims, even though you may think there's a type. You may think that they fit into a category, but there isn't one. She says she had a 3.8 grade point average. She was in extracurricular activities. So if you see something that you think seems strange, there's that old saying, right? See something, say something, call the police.
Absolutely, it sure matters.
Yes, that old saying that DJ Just Jay likes to claim credit for. I'm not going to lie about that. Hashtag, if you see something, say something. And I want to give a shout out to that area for doing something great. They saw something, they said something, they took action. Thank you to the police out there. And shout out to Operation Roundup. But like I said, we need more operations like that. And, a lot of people, it doesn't always take a special sting or task force to report this type of stuff. A lot of people know this type of stuff is going on. And all you have to do is open your mouth, say something, put the information in the police's hands and let them do their work. Make your world a better place and clean it up from people like this, from these pedophiles and hebophiles. Okay? Thank y'all so much for listening to this story with an open mind and an open heart, from my heart to yours. Love you all. Thank y'all for being AFC, Advocates for Children. Have a good day. All right? Peace. Want to thank you guys so much. If you see something, say something, right? Y'all not, some people won't let me take credit for that, but I like taking credit for it because it's funny. See something, say something. I know I didn't create it, but I like to think that I came up with it. If y'all don't want to give me credit for it, it's fine. But I did create hashtag when you date thugs, you date death, and hashtag babies for benefits, hashtag babies lives matter, hashtag live by the thug, die by the thug, hashtag stupid is the stupid thugs, stupid thugs, hashtag TTO, hashtag TTT, hashtag hood hoes love hood dick, hashtag no jail time, give them hell time, hashtag date hillbillies, you date death, hashtag hood billies. Good night.
Nora's Authentic Designer has some of the most glamorous and stylish handbags your girl has ever seen. So ladies, if you want to get fly, and fellas, if you want to take care of your lady, please be sure to go to www.noras915.com. www.noras915.com. That's right, www.noras915.com.
Hello listeners, come mask up with Keyline Designs, where you reap what we sow. We offer essential handcrafted face masks made with 100% cotton, equipped with a built-in filter and a slot for refillable filters. Our masks have many uses, like riding motorcycles, ATVs, while out in public places, outside exercising, lawn and gardening, and helps prevent the spread of germs. We offer bling, sports logos, monograms, many assorted fabrics and colors. We make child-sized masks starting at the age of 2. Come join us today for the launch of our new website at keylinedesigns.com. Please be sure to like and follow our page on Facebook. Our links can be found in the description box of this video. Thank you.
Check out this wonderful organization that I'm proud to be a part of. It's called Bags for Kids, BAGS4KIDS.org. And check out their website. They really help a lot of kids in foster care, giving them a permanent piece of luggage and also a lot of items that they might need so that they feel that they belong, which they do. So go to the website, bags4kids.org. So go for it. It's a great place, and they're doing great work.
Exclusive new products that you will only see on my website at www.sayitwithchess.com. These products are made special by my mother, Keyline Designs. The hoodie blankie, the face mask, as well as the 4-in-1 African head wrap. Now the way it works, it is a reversible bonnet. It has a headband that you can wear alone. It has a matching face mask as well. Please be sure to go over to our website and check out these nice new products that you will not find anywhere else.